Breaking, surprising news coming in right now, as of course we have a very important development on one of the most important stories of the decade, and that is accomplice. Some have even accused a more powerful person than Jeffrey Epstein. Ghislaine Maxwell was just arrested in Bradford, New Hampshire. Yes, shocking news because of all the grander implications in this case, which could potentially mean that a lot of powerful people are in trouble. This news just coming in right now. The word Clinton started trending in the United States for obvious reasons, as of course we're going to be talking about the larger implications here in this video, with of course the term Epstein, as many people are also speculating that Miss Maxwell might be taken out because of the secret she knows. Another person trending is, of course, Prince Andrew, who people are speculating that his sweat glands magically just came back. Now, of course, there are a lot of memes going around right now about this particular situation, but more importantly, there are some serious questions to consider, which we're going to get into. As an independent media organization that has been investigating and exposing Jeffrey Epstein for a very long time, including when the mainstream media was literally writing puff pieces about him, celebrating how great and an influential person he was. We also stormed, of course, Jeffrey Epstein's island. And because we've been on this story from the very beginning, we are heavily censored, we are shadow banned, we are 100% demonetized on this independent media channel. And we exist predominantly because of your support, your donations, and you guys also checking out our merchandise. We had previous informative shirts about this situation that were censored by one of our stores. We set up a backup on Spreadshirt, which many of these items are still available. And by purchasing them, you support the future of this independent media organization that has been on the forefront of exposing not only the Jeffrey Epstein situation, but of course the larger implications of it and government involvement, which, by the way, is very clear. There's a lot of evidence that Jeffrey Epstein was running an extortion blackmail racket with children, doing unspeakable things that we won't mention here, which many prominent documentaries fail to mention. Again, his ties to intelligence agencies, as well as Ghislaine Maxwell's and her father's ties to the intelligence agencies, are a critical piece of this story that is being censored. Now, of course, we're going to get more official information from the federal authorities in just a little bit during their press conference, but we have to be reminded that it was federal authorities that literally sat on their hands for decades, as of course many witnesses came to federal authorities, came to the FBI, told them about Epstein, and they utterly ignored them. All the way back almost 3 decades. So obviously there should be a fresh wave of skepticism when it comes to any information coming from the federal authorities. Now, the information of today's arrest has shocked a lot of people, and rightfully so. This is the same federal authorities that are trying to tell you that an upbeat Jeffrey Epstein that was hopeful for his upcoming court case, according to his lawyers, somehow after trying to attempt suicide for a first time and failing, was able to get multiple surveillance cameras not to work, then to magically disappear, as well as somehow deploy sleeping potions on 2 security guards that were busy looking at and buying very expensive items on their cell phones for an extremely long time, not doing their job, as the official story from these same federal authorities that Epstein somehow miraculously Epsteined himself and suicided himself. That's the official story from the federal government, and the Attorney General Bill Barr, who said he watched the video then disappeared, wasn't available. You know, a person who jumped towards a conclusion while he was still supposed to be investigating this entire case. So yes, there's a lot of need for skepticism here. Another very important to bring up here is that the office where the investigation on Maxwell was taking place was being run by Agent Jeffrey Berman, who just a couple days ago was fired. Very interesting that the office that just made this arrest was being run by a person that was just recently fired. What's going on here? And allegedly, According to Epstein's victims' lawyers, Jeffrey Brennan was fired, according to the lawyers of Epstein's victims. This is important here. This is their allegation here, because they wanted Jeffrey Berman to stop investigating Prince Andrew. Now, Prince Andrew, of course, is implicated in this entire blackmail extortion racket tied to Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell. They are all more than just friends, but it's important to know that Prince Andrew still has diplomatic immunity from the United States, still has yet to be questioned officially. According to many people, he has lied about his participation with the federal authorities, which some federal authorities have called him out as a liar for. Now, does this mean that Prince Andrew is next to be arrested here? In my opinion, it doesn't look likely. He definitely should be interrogated and questioned highly about what is happening here. He has even hired a very powerful law firm that previously represented Chilean dictator Pinochet to represent him during these times. And of course, with his diplomatic immunity and ties to government officials, I don't believe that is likely. Now, that doesn't mean that Prince Andrew is in the clear, because knowing how Ghislaine Maxwell has operated previously before, setting up PR, professionally taken, even touched up, manipulated photos to be run as truth in the mainstream media, knowing how she fiddles and manipulates the press, it wouldn't surprise me the potential of her negotiating her arrest in order to work out a better plea deal for herself. Again, this woman, according to many of her victims, was very manipulative. She has shown to put out disinformation successfully with the help of mainstream media. And of course, she is very well connected, not just, of course, to the Clintons, but many powerful people from all sides of the political aisle. Now, I still would like to know officially what happened to Agent Berman. There should be also a lot of scrutiny against Les Wexner, who is also extremely connected here, and according to many sources, one of the people who is also connected to intelligence agencies and gave Jeffrey Epstein his start. The relationship he had with Epstein is astounding. And also another thing that we have to understand here, according to some theories out there, Epstein was just potentially a fall guy, and according to some victims, it was Maxwell that was the actual person that was above him, allegedly, according to some theories and victims during this entire matter and situation. And in my opinion, it does make sense that Ghislaine was Epstein's handler. There's also this strange incident that happened today as well, coinciding with this, and that is that a mystery Jeffrey Epstein statue was found in downtown Albuquerque in New Mexico. As we know, Jeffrey Epstein had one of his properties in New Mexico, and it looks like this statue was put up to commemorate his victims, who, of course, never have seen justice in this case. Will the arrest of Ghislaine Maxwell allow them to have justice? Well, honestly, with the way that the federal authorities operate, it's unlikely. But more than ever, I think it is clear that public attention and pressure is important here. Also, just a few days ago, we reported how a person was arrested for trespassing on the luxurious yacht that Ghislaine Maxwell, of course, had, and that's why we asked, how in the world are people investigating her arrested while the clear, obvious criminal that has many victims pointing the finger directly at her is still free? Now, of course, she's not free now. We are going to be following this story very closely, since, of course, there could be a lot of major implications here that go far beyond the left-right political spectrum and show a picture of government agents aiding and abetting some of the worst actions a human being can commit against children. And again, since the federal authorities sat on their hands, gave Jeffrey Epstein a slap on the wrist, let him go numerous amounts of times, and then finally, when there was supposed to be a court hearing exposing everything, he, against all odds, in one of the most securest places in the world, mysteriously suicided himself. And now the same federal authorities are telling us that they're going to get justice Maxwell, well, sorry, I'm a bit skeptical, to be honest with you, but who knows? Maybe there are some legitimate good people in government trying to take down bad people. And if that's the case, I will be gladly proven wrong and absolutely admit to it. But right now, I think we need skepticism, and we need a lot of eyeballs, a lot of security cameras on top of security cameras on top of other security cameras on top of other people and witnesses to make sure that Maxwell, of course, doesn't meet the same fate as Epstein himself. And I think our eyes and ears, our attention, our calls for justice matter here. And that's why I want to thank everyone for being a part of this independent media journey. Share this video with your friends and family members. This is important news happening right now that we're going to be on top of because we work for you. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and that's why. Love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on WeAreChange.org.